Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess and this is the Burbstead, and this is sort of a continuation of the previous video that I posted on the seeds that I had ordered, and I had thought about talking about the seeds that I'd ordered and then how to organize them together, but I realized as I was getting into it, the video was getting really long and it was too much to try and do both. So I thought that I would split them out, and then that way, if you just wanted to see seed organization, then you could just come to a dedicated video for it. And if you wanted to just see seed opening and varieties, then you could see that. So the way that I organize seeds is kind of haphazard. There's not a whole lot of, I guess, method to the madness. It's more madness than method. I have these little totes that are basically little shoebox containers that you can get at Target. You can see the seeds are in there. And they're not very expensive. I think they come out to be somewhere around $1 a piece. And they work pretty well. Actually, they stack, which is really nice. And I have several of them. I have a couple extras for other things that are garden related, like tags and pencils and little bitty divots and things like that just are kind of random small things that are garden related. So the way that I organize these through most of the year is different than how I organize them when I'm getting ready to do seed starting. Most of the year I have these little totes, and they are, let me move those over there so you can see how they are. Most of the time they are sorted pretty neatly as far as a semi-alphabetical in different types. So usually I have a container for vegetables, I have a container for flowers, and then I have a container of other. And then what happens when I get ready to seed start, come around New Year's, usually, because I've got a whole day on New Year's with nothing to do, I pull everything out and I go through my great big container of what do I want to start this year? What do I want to plant? I start thinking about projects and what do I want my garden to look like, my containers, what food do I want to grow personally, what other plants have people asked me for so far, what do I normally grow for people, what did people say last year that they really liked and they'd like again, or what they not like, or what did I see people say that they bought that they wish that they knew that I could start for them. And I start making a list, and then once I get through all of that, then I get out an empty tub, because I have, like I said, I have a few of these. So I get out an empty tub and I start pulling everything out that I think I might use, and out of that then I start sorting and editing and adding, editing and adding, and going from there. So the way that I generally sort them is I still have the idea of vegetables in one and flowers in another, and I start splitting the containers. So if you notice, there is front packet in this one and then front of a packet on this side too, on each side. And one side is always seeds that I plan on starting indoors, and then the other side of the container are seeds that I know that I'm going to direct sow. And then usually what I do for flowers is anything that I know that I'm going to direct sow in a container, but I'm going to do it early, then I go ahead and I include that in the start ahead category. And I just put them straight up front because I know which ones those are going to be right off the bat. Usually those are my perennials, or they're things like salvia that I do on a pretty consistent basis, but for some reason they don't really winter over very well in my area. They're supposed to be perennial, but for some reason they don't winter over very well for me, probably because they're in a container and they can get a little sensitive. And then anything else that's like that, like nasturtiums and carnations, I usually do in a container if I do them that year. Daisies I usually do in a container if I'm doing them that year, that kind of thing. So then I split them out and then I start going through and editing. The next thing that I do is I sort them by start times, if they're start ahead. So then that way I have kind of an idea of what is going to start when. And you can find that information on the back of your seed packet. So I'm gonna pull this one. This is an eggplant, for instance. And on the back of the packet, I'm gonna bookmark my spot. On the back of the packet, it will tell you planting instructions. So if you can see that, it tells you exactly what you need to do, when to start, and that kind of thing. Now, if you don't think that you have enough information on the back of the seed packets, you can go to the website that you get these from. So this particular packet is from Baker Creek. Or if you go to Johnny's Seeds, they have amazing information on their website about when and how and all the different tips and tricks on seed starting. They have a bunch of amazing resources. I love them. So if you're ever unsure or there's not enough information on the back of your particular packet, you can check there too. And you'll get something that's pretty generally reliable based on what your variety is. So the one thing I like about this system is I don't feel like restricted by dividers. I don't really like feeling like I have to use a divider or have it in here a certain way, because sometimes they just don't fit, or sometimes categories make more sense in a different way to me. So for instance, herbs, I think of certain herbs as more floral because I don't really use them that way, but I think they're beautiful. And some herbs I think of as more of a vegetable because that's what I plant them next to. So it just, you know, it kind of just depends on what you want to do with it, how you want to do it. But that's how I set them all out. That's how I organize them. I like being able to have the clear tote because I like being able to see what's in them and see what's on both sides, so I can look right at them and see how much is in there. And then once I figure out what I'm going to be starting, then anything extra just goes into their original container that they were in before, or kind of condense everything together. Now, right now I am trying to edit. I am not editing very well. As you can see, this is my to grow list for vegetables, and then this is my to grow list for flowers. And I can't grow all of these guys. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to get them all in there, but I'm very ambitious. I really want to make sure that I get a lot in this year. I want to do a cut flower garden. I want to do several different types of comparison plantings and find varieties that work the best for me, that I like the best, because typically what I have done is just kind of had a couple of varieties that I just kind of stick with, or what I've also done is I'll just do 4 or 5 of the same thing if that's, you know, what I'm going for, because I haven't really wanted to mess with a lot of variety or worry about cross-pollination, because I've been in such a small space up until this year that that's been a concern of mine, to not come out with the same plant the next year if I decide to save the seeds. And this year I feel like I've got enough space that if I wanted to do that, I could, and really start to hone in on saving certain seeds and trying to come up with things that really are my favorites and edit down, and then start giving away the ones that I don't really care for as much, rather than just collecting them. That's how I organize them, and it's just easy for me to kind of just go through and flip through and see what's in there. And then that way also everything seems to fit. These great big Baker Creek packets fit really, really well. And like in the flower container, I've got a giant bulk seed packet for baby's breath that fits in here really well, and the lid closes over it just fine. And these are really inexpensive, like I mentioned, so they fit in a closet really nicely since they're shoebox sized, and then I can just exactly see what they are. But anyway, I hope that's, you know, beneficial if you're still looking for a way to organize your seeds and you're kind of a seedaholic like me and a member of other gardeners. A method that works for you that you really, really love, drop me a comment below, and maybe somebody else would really, really enjoy seeing what works for you, or maybe there's something that you've been doing, if you have a system that's similar to this, that would be really helpful for me to know as well, because like I said, this is not perfect. This is more madness than anything else. It's kind of just barely collected. I am going to be doing seed starting videos here very soon, So pay attention to the notifications. If you haven't turned on notifications, it's a good time to do so. Hit that little bell down below this screen, and then that way you'll know exactly when something new is getting uploaded. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.